Good morning. It is Sunday, the 26th of May 2019, and we've had a little bit of a lazy start this morning. It's almost 10 a.m., and you're joining us here at Bugbrooke on the Grand Union Canal. We're just waiting for the boat to wind there in front, off to the right, and then we'll be on our way. Yesterday, we had cruised from Muscat to Bugbrooke, a short cruise which took us past Wiedenbeck, Stow Hill, and a number of marinas. We moored up here in Bugbrooke, just opposite the wharf, a canal-side gastro pub where we went to have an evening meal. As I recall, the meals were very nice. The front rope is moored off, and with a quick blast of the bow thruster, oh yes, he has to use the bow thruster button. And a few more for good measure. Oh, have another. And again. One more. Come on, swing out. As I'd mentioned, we'd arrived here yesterday evening, roughly at the same time as the Grand Union Canal race runners. There was a checkpoint just by the bridge close to where we moored up, and several runners were taking a brief break to eat. Some runners were even being checked by sports physiotherapists from the support crew.
The Grand Union Canal race is run from Gas Street Basin in the centre of Birmingham to Little Venice in the heart of London along the Grand Union Canal towpath. Competitors are required to complete the 145-mile distance within the time limit of 45 hours. The runners had commenced at Gas Street Basin from 6 a.m. yesterday morning. Bugbrooke, where we are, is 57 miles from Gas Street Basin. No wonder they look knackered. There is of course a website for the Grand Union Canal race which details the other stages of the ultra-distance canal race series, which is a 400-mile ultra-distance foot race. We'll put a link in the description below. The website has the course records listed on it for the Grand Union Canal race, and for men, Dan Lawson completed the race in 22 hours and 15 minutes. That record was set in 2015. And for women, Kat Simpson completed the race in 27 hours and 26 minutes, and that record was set in 2017.
Unusual, but very interesting at the same time. Someone must have had to sit down and work out the dimensions and the weight of that shipping container to ensure it fitted into that hull. They would have had to make sure that it could have also been safely cruised along the canal. It looks wider than a standard narrowboat hull, but also doesn't look like it's a full-size wide beam one either. It looks to be quite a project.
It's time to do the YouTube canal vlog thing and speed up our travels by using bridges and passing boats to show the passage of time.
There are a lot of boats moored here on the approach to Gayton Junction. Here we are at Gayton Junction. Our trusty Nicholson's guide tells us that there is a combined sanitary station here. If we were to turn left, we would join the Northampton Arm, which would lead through a whole load of locks down to the River Nene. Today we are going straight on towards Blisworth and the tunnel.
Here at Gayton Junction there are a couple of marinas. One's on the Northampton Arm, which is an ABC hire boat base, and this one that's coming up on the right hand side here that we're passing on the Blisworth Arm, funnily enough it's called Blisworth Marina. There's also the Grand Junction Boat Company that are based in the maintenance yard adjacent to the Canal and River Trust yard, which is actually on the junction there. They offer a range of services from blacking to engine maintenance and much more. I would imagine that this is a very busy place in the summer months. It's getting a little bit breezy. You may have noticed the cloud cover as well. Looks like we could be in for another cloudburst, which means we will be getting wetter today. I do like the Grand Union Canal. It is nice and wide. Well, mostly nice and wide. There are parts where trees and bushes have encroached slightly, a lot, over the canal. Yesterday I had not seen a dead tree branch protruding from the water, which made the boat squeal, as the branch etched its way along the side of the paintwork from bow to midship. It was at that point that I realised the high-pitched screeching noise was actually us, and us managed to steer sharply away from the partially submerged tree. Well, it will give us something to do, I suppose. Might need some tea cut or a very good wax job. Any and all suggestions for the best wax to use, gratefully received. Please leave them in the comments below. Have you noticed how the canal always gets narrow when there's a boat coming at you and there's other boats moored? Look at these overhanging trees. And here's that cloudburst. Yay! All those boats there on the right hand side, that's got to be Blisworth Tunnel boats and their base at Mill Wharf. That impressive brick building is Blisworth Mill, and just before it what used to be a canal warehouse. The roof you can see on this side of the warehouse building extends out, forming a small canopy over the canal. I'm not sure if that would provide any protection from this rain. Records indicate that this warehouse once belonged to the Grand Junction Canal Company and would have been in use when the tunnel was being constructed, and goods were unloaded to horse-drawn tramway and taken over the hill to the canal on the other side. At 3,076 yards, or, in new money, 2,813 metres long, Blisworth Tunnel is the third longest navigable canal tunnel in the UK canal network, after Standedge Tunnel and Dudley Tunnel, and the ninth longest canal tunnel in the world. At its deepest point, it is 143 feet, or 43 metres, below ground level. The tunnel has no towpath inside, but is wide enough for two narrowboats to pass in opposite directions. Work began in 1793, but errors by the contractor left a wiggle in the tunnel, and after 3 years' work, it collapsed due to quicksand, claiming the lives of 14 men. It was then decided to begin again with a new tunnel. By the time the rest of the Grand Junction Canal had opened between London and Braunston in 1800, apart from the crossing of the River Great Ouse at Cosgrove, the section of canal from Blisworth to the lower end of Stoke Bruerne locks was the only section left unfinished. This was despite the tunnel having been under construction for 7 years. The gap was filled by a temporary horse-drawn tramway over the top of the hill, with goods being transported from boat to wagon and back again. The tramway, built in 1801, was Northamptonshire's first railway. In March 1805, the tunnel was finally opened, and the rails were used to connect the main line of the canal to the River Nene until the branch canal to Northampton was constructed. I'm not sure why, but I always thought the tunnel entrance was right next to the wharf buildings that house the Cafe and Canal Museum, but they're a little further on down the canal. I suppose that's the magic of watching canal journeys on TV and YouTube channels, where the journeys get shortened and the stories are told from a slightly different perspective to real life. I am really amazed at how all these boats look so clean and shiny as we cruise slowly past them. I'm so glad you can't see how filthy dirty our boat currently is. Stoke Bruerne, according to our Nicholson's Guide, is perhaps the best example of a canal-side village in the country. Built mostly of local stone, the houses flank the canal. The warehouses, houses and wharf have become a canal centre, greatly enhanced by the presence of a canal museum. As a canalscape, Stoke Bruerne has everything you could ever desire: a pub, locks, boat scales, a double-arched bridge, museum, canal shops, blacksmith, and a canal tunnel. You'll notice as we approach this lock, it used to be a twin set of locks. The one on the right-hand side is no longer in use. It currently has the boat scales in it, and it's also got a set of iron gates. It's still a bit breezy, and the boat gets blown to the left-hand side of the lock. The bow thruster is put into action again to move the boat over. I think we did this so Paul could step off at the back and close the lock gate behind us. The boat drifts back over to the left-hand side with the aid of the wind. We pause for a moment to have a look to see if any other boats are coming to join us in the lock. Remember, at the time this vlog was filmed, there were water restrictions in place, and as they say, it's better to share. The boat that we thought was coming this way stopped and winded just above the locks, so Paul gets on with it. And, as if by magic, the gongoozlers appear. I forgot to mention that the Canal Museum is well worth a visit, and more importantly, it's free for friends of the CRT, so don't forget to show your card at the entrance. This is lock 14 on the Grand Union, and it has a rise of about 8 feet. That's just under 3 metres. As the water level goes down, you can just see the top of the paddle on the gate on the right hand side there. Whilst we're waiting in this lock, don't forget you can subscribe to our channel, you can ding the bell for notifications and all the other YouTube stuff about thumbs up and comments below. Just in front of us there is lock 15. That also has a rise of about 8 feet, and unfortunately the camera stops filming at this point. After lock 15 we moored up next to the Coal Pits Country Park in front of a Dutch Barge style boat, which had a mermaid front fender, which was absolutely amazing. Sorry that's a bit blurred. Oh, time to go. Bye.